I was constantly asked by my non-Chinese friends saying, hey, Liu-Sha, is that true you were not allowed to criticize the government? Is that true you were not allowed to express your personal political opinion? Or is that true you would be thrown into jail if you do so? So I want to clarify those questions by sharing some of my opinion about what you can actually talk and you cannot talk about in China. Before I begin, I want to make it crystal clear. Everything I'm going to say is from my personal experience, personal opinion, and from my own perspective. All right? I'm not saying everything below is 100% fact or 100% truth. I just want to give you a different perspective. Let's be honest. Speech is controlled in China by Chinese government. And China has a long way to go in terms of free speech. Let's ping the facts there, all right? However, in the meantime, the situation is really not like some of you may heard from the media. Some of my friends thought, okay, China is this place where the government controls everything and all the people, citizens are like shivering chihuahua in the corner and terrified to talk about anything. Not like that. Personal experience, again, there's only two types of topics I would try to avoid when I was in China. Number one, the topics that instigate a large number of people to overrun the government. The key point here is to overrun the government, which is very different from criticizing or providing feedbacks. For example, if you say, if you go to the city government and say, hey, I don't like how the school system works here, and here's 1, 2, 3, 4 things that we think we can improve it. Not only this type of topics or speech were not forbidden, government actually encouraged that, right? They love to hear that because that's how we can improve together. It becomes a problem when the topic or the intention is to overtake the government. For example, if you give a public speech in Tiananmen Square and say, hey, let's gather an army and a group of number of people and take over Beijing. So first of all, I dare you, all right? And second of all, that is something can be censored and controlled. Some of you may say, okay, what if the people don't like the current government and they want to have another government to take it? Well, that's not my topic to judge, is that right or wrong? All I'm saying is, under the current government, that topic will be forbidden and controlled and censored. Number two, the speech that can potentially bring threat to the society's stability. For example, if I developed a new philosophy system or way of meditation, and I want to share that with my friends, my family, okay? Scenario one, just friends and family. That's perfectly fine. You can say what you want. You can do whatever you want. Scenario two, I start to get a lot of traction. I get millions of followers who want to learn my philosophy and my meditation. At this point, it's still okay, right? Nothing bad will happen to me. But when I can influence my followers to take certain actions, for example, take over some cities blocks or block some highways, main street, and city, that started to become a problem. And then, starting from that point, my action, my speech will be monitored and controlled by the government because I potentially can jeopardize the stability of the society or certain communities. A good example is Falun Gong, right? I'm not saying Falun Gong is good or bad. It's not for me to judge. What I'm saying is, once certain action or certain group speech is considered as a threat to the society communities, that speech will be facing consequences and controlled by the government. Another thing I want to quickly point out is, there are many topics I do not feel comfortable to talk about in the US. However, I feel very comfortable and free to discuss, even debate in China. I think you might see where I'm going. Those topics, immigration, race, feminism, global warming, vegan, right? I understand I'm not going to get into legal consequences by talking about those in the US, but there are many other social consequences. For example, once I was telling my friend that how unfair it was for me to go through a 7-year process to get my green card while some illegal immigrants just can get it right away, illegally, right? Then my friends was judging me, hey Losha, how can you say that? Do you know how hard their life was? Do you know how hard their life have to go through and how difficult for their kids to grow up here when their parents are illegal immigrants? I get all that. But on the other hand, you can see how harshly people can judge other people based on a different opinion like my friend did to me, right? When we have enough of those mindset, that can become another force potentially can jeopardize the so-called free speech. So my point here is, there are very few things, actually for me, 2 topics I'm not going to touch when I was in China. And other than that, man, go nuts. Another misunderstanding about speech control in China is, a lot of my friends think this is how we talk about stuff in China.
要是万一有生人问起咱们同福客栈的任何事，千万不要暴露。
不会的。
But actually, it's far from the truth. Even for those forbidden topics, we have no problem to talk about with friends, with family, privately. It only becomes a problem when you want to gain followers, influence people online or publicly, right? Other than that, you go nuts. Talk about whatever you want in private. I hope I give you a pretty clear sense what I feel comfortable and not to talk about in China. Actually, as long as I do not try to overtake the government, as long as I don't jeopardize the society's stability, I'm very free to talk about whatever I want. And even with those topics in private, I should be fine. So please like the video if you enjoy the content, and comment below, let me know what other topics you want me to dive deeper into the so-called speech control in China or the censorship in China. I would love to follow up on that. And share this video with whoever is interested in what speech control is in China, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you next time.